Hello, this is Ruben and welcome back to the Samplecast. This is the first episode of 2017. Now I've realised that we've missed lots of information and lots of new releases over Christmas and the New Year, and perhaps you have as well. I know certainly I haven't been keeping up with things as much as I should have. So this is going to be a special episode of the Samplecast, just looking back over the last kind of month or 6 weeks or so and highlighting some of the libraries which personally I've played with and I've found to be pretty good, or that I've heard the demos of and had a look at the YouTube videos online and I think might be worth your time and investment. Obviously there have been quite a few big sample collections out since we went off air, including the symphonic collections from Spitfire Audio, the 8DO Anthology Strings collection, and also Metropolis Arc 2 from Orchestral Tools. I'm not going to cover those because they're huge releases and they've had a lot of feedback already online. So instead I'm going to look at some of the perhaps smaller sample libraries, some of the forgotten gems over the last couple of months or so. So let's get on with it. First up in our December rewind, we've Dream Zither from Fracture Sounds. This is a deep sampled plucked zither and it's got up to 23 velocity levels per key with round robins in there too. It runs in the full version of Contact and is 4 octaves in size. You've got here an adjustable damping control and also adjustable reverb for the main zither. The unique feature with Dream Zither is that there's this thing called the Dream Layer, which is a sound design pad made from the zither samples themselves. Now this can be mixed into the main patch on the interface with adjustable intensity, and I really enjoyed playing with this over Christmas. It's got a unique sound, especially with the Dream Layer, so I'd have a look at it at the Fracture Sounds website. We interviewed Sergey from The Last Haven when he released the first volume of Hybrid Fluids. That was back a few months ago in Samplecast issue 8. Check out the podcast there as it's a really interesting insight into his creation process. Now this is Hybrid Fluids volume 2, which features even more cinematic effects, from transitions to booms and whooshes, downers and ambient samples as well for various atmospheres. This includes some playable patches too, and this runs in the full version of Contact and it's about 1.5 GB in size. This also features The Last Haven's Flow engine, which is a really useful second page on the interface for manipulating the sounds, and I particularly enjoyed hitting the random button, which creates some unique tones. Have a look at it on the Last Haven website. Umlaut Audio have released something a little bit different. It's actually 3 different Contact instruments called uBEAT, and these are geared up to 3 different genres. You've got hip hop, hybrid and electro, and these have been packaged individually, or they're also available as a bundle. I have to say I downloaded all of these and had a good playthrough and was really impressed by the sounds on offer. Each one has 45 different preset drum kits with 90 MIDI loops per instrument, and these are super easy to audition in the interface. The MIDI loops are really simple to get a hold of, and also the one-shot percussion hits. You can literally just play them on the keyboard, or you can flick through the MIDI loops as they play. The best thing is that you can export these loops to your DAW by simply dragging and dropping from the Contact interface. I have to say that as someone like myself who writes a lot of dance music and hip hop scores for TV shows, these sounds are really authentic. They're production ready. I didn't need to tweak them around too much to use them, and I love the way that you can manipulate the individual elements of the beats with the FX and routing. The interaction with the beats is pretty epic. You can adjust individual parts of the beat, or you can also do global adjustments with the FX menu, and there's a whole host of other options on there as well. Check it out at the Umlaut Audio website. Bela have been keeping up their high quality range of vocal libraries, and this one, Paravox Youth Soprano, is a soprano solo voice for the full version of Contact. It's been recorded dry, so it can fit in with many different ambiences. It all match to your score, just load your own reverb on there. It's got a kind of soft and lyrical tone with many different vowel sounds, ooh, ahs, e's, that kind of thing. There's also lots of different effects there, including nursery rhyme, whole songs, whispered elements, hymns, prayers and breaths as well. It's great for suspense, I'd say, and horror scoring, that kind of thing. The Bela site also has some nice new YouTube videos explaining how their vocal engine works, so if you haven't checked out Bela before, have a look at it at their homepage. Chocolate Audio came up with a nice package over the December period. This is Glissando, and it's a concert harp library for the full version of Contact. It basically samples a 47-string harp, and you've got nearly 4 gigabytes of sounds in there. There's 2 different microphone position sets, and there's 20 different articulations, which is a lot of articulations for a harp library. There's lots of options here to control the resonance, release, and various other performance parameters, and it sounds really lovely. I haven't managed to get my hands on it myself, but I've had a really good listen to the demos, and it sounds beautiful. There's many different tunings here, and chord types are recognised as well, and there's actually 7 different glissando modes, so it's pretty authentic. If you actually know how to play a harp, you'll recognise the pedal layout as well. Of course, you can also play the plucked harp in the normal way, kind of piano style, and you've got 26 different presets there to get you started. Have a look at the Chocolate Audio website. I think you'll be really impressed by the demos there. I've featured products from Amplesound a couple of times before, and they had a new one out recently. It's Ample Bass Yinyang, and this is a really great release. It's 5 gigabytes in size. It runs in the bespoke Amplesound engine, and it's a sampled Fodera bass. There's loads of articulations here, including sustains, mutes, hammer-ons, pull-offs, legato slides and taps, various other ones too, rather too many to list. There's also a whole load of under-the-hood functions to make the bass sound as realistic as possible, such as auto buzz and the capo logic system. There's lots of great videos on the Amplesound website showing the performance capabilities, so I'd urge you to have a look at that. I was pretty impressed by the performance myself. And lastly, in this December roundup, a really lovely library which I wasn't expecting to like as much as I did is Mercury Piano from Wavesfactory. This is a grand piano sample library, and yes, I've got loads of pianos. I've probably got 20 or 30 different sample libraries that cover pianos in some form or another. But this is a really special one. It's a sampled Fazioli F228 recorded in London, and this was actually Freddie Mercury's real piano that he played on the Real Queen albums, the kind of end of their careers. Now, this is a 34 gigabyte library, so it's pretty big. It runs in the Contact player as well, so you don't have to have the full version of Contact. And here you've got 5 mixable microphone positions and 42 different presets. When I was playing it myself, I didn't feel the need to play about with the mic positions too much. I just head for the presets, and a lot of those sounded absolutely gorgeous. I also found this library to be quite light in RAM usage, as long as you stuck to only 1 or 2 different microphone positions. And over the Christmas period, I really couldn't stop playing with it. It was just lovely to just sit and play. Have a look at it at the Wavesfactory website and have a listen to their lovely demos as well. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Samplecast. I realise it's a little bit different than usual. We'll be back to normal on the next episode, but I couldn't resist covering some of those libraries that otherwise I would have forgotten all about with the slew of January releases. You can check out the Samplecast on email, Twitter, Facebook, and also we've got a website where you can sign up to the newsletter. If you do that, you'll get a newsletter when there's a new edition of the Samplecast out every week. We don't send loads of adverts and spammings and things like that. That's not really our style, but it's definitely worth keeping informed about what's going on with the show. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head over to the podcast if you want to hear some of these sample libraries in action. I expand on all the information here with extra demos and other special audio bits and bobs in the podcast. And I shall see you very soon for episode 32. Bye bye now.